What's up, everybody? I'm Jeffrey Hessler. Welcome back to the channel, Jeff Hess on college football. If you're new to the channel, please leave a like, subscribe, check out some of my other videos. Last video, we talked about Ohio State's Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave going back-to-back in the draft, how they could possibly become wide receiver U in the near future, some other guys that are coming up after those guys in the NFL draft. So, with that being said, we are going to hop right into this video. We're going to be talking about NIL, a big conversation in college football right now, a lot going on with it. Will there be rules made? Speculation going on right now that guys like Jordan Addison, wide receiver from Pitt, is getting offered $1 million from USC, and Lincoln Riley. There's a video of him and Bryce Young throwing in California allegedly. Coaches putting their input on it. We're gonna talk about it. I agree with NIL, yes, but there needs to be rules, and that's been a thing from the start. A lot of people from the start have said, the problem is not NIL. These players should get paid for their name, image, and likeness. That's what NIL stands for. If you don't know, athletes are allowed to get paid using their name, image, and likeness. So, basically, it's turning into pay to play is what it is, and I want to give a quote from Deion Sanders, who basically touched on that, talking about NIL. He said, "It's becoming free agency, and if you don't have it, you won't be able to compete." I agree with that 100%. He also said, "I want you to focus on the NFL, not the NIL." That's a great quote out of him. I agree completely. It's turning into a free agency. You've seen when Caleb Williams hit the transfer portal, it was kind of like a bidding war. I mean, I think a lot of people really sensed that he would end up at USC in the end, but it was like, what is Oklahoma going to offer him? What's USC going to offer? And we saw Charlie Batch saying if he goes here, he's going to give him $1 million. So it's just like getting out of hand. You've seen Quinn Ewers come right out of high school, came early to Ohio State, got $1 million deal, and then left to Texas. Now, it was reported that Texas offered him another big contract, and then another Texas star, Xavier Worthy, wide receiver in his second year now, was reportedly offered 7 figures by multiple Power 5 schools to transfer there. So you see stuff like this, and it's starting to get out of hand. It's really just an NFL college football free agency. Dabo Swinney made comments on how he doesn't like the NIL's guidelines. He's not against NIL. I know I said that in one of my videos. He's not necessarily against NIL. He's just against everything around NIL because there is major problems with it. And the NCAA said last night that it aims to crack down on boosters disguising pay to play for NIL. And that is a huge thing. Like, college football is really just the Wild West right now. It's, recruits getting offered deals. Where can I go to get the most money? No matter what recruits say, they are looking at how much they can make in NIL. They might say, no, NIL has no true meaning to me, but I think it's kind of arousing that Tennessee is all of a sudden getting these 5-star athletes. Tennessee hasn't been making name in the SEC for years now. Texas didn't have a single player drafted in this year's draft, and they're getting these 5-star recruits. Texas A&M just had one of the greatest, if not the greatest, recruiting class of all time. Like, Texas A&M hasn't really competed since Johnny Manziel. You could say Dak Prescott, maybe a little bit with Kellen Mond. And when I say competed, they haven't beat the Bamas, they haven't beat the Georgias, they haven't played for a playoff. You're seeing all this in the college football world start to turn. And if you're not a big market city like the Ohio States of the world, Alabama's going to pay their players. Miami might turn into another huge powerhouse like they were back in the early 2000s. So it's just, money should not have a toll on where a player goes. I'm all for the NIL. I'm all for players getting paid. They should get paid. They're out there putting their careers on the line. They should get money. But there needs to be guidelines behind it, because if there's no guidelines behind it, people are going to enter the transfer portal and go see where they can make the most money. That's just what it is. People are transferring like crazy. People are going wherever they get money. And not only that, it was reported that Jordan Addison was tampered with at Pitt. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically you're not allowed to recruit any player until they have actually entered the transfer portal. Okay, it was reported that USC and other schools offered him while he was at Pitt. So that is by rule illegal to the NCAA's guidelines. So USC and Lincoln Riley both could get hit with tampering just by that. There's even argument to be made that Lincoln Riley was tampering with Oklahoma players. So big market teams like that, like USC, is going to draw in a lot of talent because they can pay players. Texas is going to draw in a lot of talent because they can play players. Stuff like that. And if you, like Deion Sanders said, if it's pay to play, NFL free agency. If you got the money, you're going to be good. If you don't, you don't. And that's just going to take college football to a whole nother level. You know, it's not going to be competitive. I know lately in the last couple years, it's really just Bama, whoever you want to insert in there. But it's just going to fall off even more. You're gonna see teams like Ohio State winning by 60 points. You're going to see teams like Florida, Miami, Georgia, Alabama. Those teams are going to separate from teams like Vanderbilt, teams like Wake Forest, stuff like that. So until the NCAA can really crack down on what's going on with the NIL, I think it's going to be absolute madness in college football. With that being said, though, let me know what you guys think. Going to hop into some other things here soon. More videos coming out this week. Y'all stay tuned. Have a good day.